Carnival. It's great for business, really bad for my mental health. Now, just to be clear, everything that I'm about to tell you is from personal experience after having endured over 18 carnivals here ever since I moved to Brazil just over 19 years ago. When you think of Carnival, I'm pretty sure you are visualizing all of the pretty girls in their samba outfits dancing in the streets, right? Well, today I'm gonna give you a reality check. So I want you to forget everything that you know about Carnival here in Brazil, but before you do that, I'm gonna tell you why you and the majority are absolutely clueless on how the Carnival is actually celebrated here. But don't worry, it's not your fault. So all of the wonderful images that you have of Carnival mostly come from the city of Rio de Janeiro and is also considered to be the birthplace of samba, with several samba schools located throughout the city. The images that you're seeing are from the Samba Dromo, a venue especially built for the Carnival parades. All of the big samba schools participate in the parades, and everything from the costumes, decorations and music are planned months in advance. So in short, Rio's Carnival is probably the most internationally recognized version of the festival. But in the rest of the country, especially where I live, the story is quite different. 4 days of work without any consequences. Make sure you get the biggest sound system that you possibly can get your hands on. And play Brazilian funk music from 9 o'clock in the morning, non-stop until 4 o'clock the following morning. Sleep for 3 to 4 hours, if possible, and then repeat. And don't forget to always stay hydrated. Not with water, but of course, with lots and lots of beer. Preferably cachaça also, as much as your liver can possibly handle. Because it's extremely important not to find yourself in a sober state, as that will ruin the entire experience. And don't forget to buy lots and lots of flour. 10 kilos should do the trick. Forgot to buy flour? But seriously, if you hear anyone ask you, vamos a mela mela, run. For some reason, the locals here, they find it extremely amusing to go out on the streets, bring a bag full of flour and just throw it at each other. Just chug it straight in the face of a complete stranger, maybe their families or especially their best friends. So, if you don't want to participate in that, then you better stay away, because if you're nearby with clean clothes, then you're gonna be a prime target. Another important thing to note is Carnival is all about standing out. And if you want to be the top gun, the guy who's the center of attention, who gets all the pretty girls, then it's extremely important that you get your hands on the very biggest sound system that you possibly can get your hands on. It's not about the music quality, it's about just making the most amount of noise possible. Because remember, you're not going to be the only one with a big sound system. You're competing against hundreds of other people who rented just the biggest astronomical sound system that I've ever seen in my life. And all of these have the volume to the max. And to make sure that people can understand what's coming out of your speakers, then you better get the biggest sound system. Better even, get yourself a trailer and haul that beast all the way down to the beach. That's how you get the girls. Seriously, you don't believe me? You think I'm making all of this shit up? I'm gonna prove it. Just watch this cool effect right here.
Ai, bebê! Vai começar o rock doido! Vai! vai, fogo! Tararau, 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 tararau. É na onda do birimbau que ela vai no pau. É na onda do birimbau que ela vai no pau.
See what I mean? But in all seriousness, my first ever carnival down here in Brazil, I was about 28 years old, single, and had the stamina to drink all night until the sun came out the following day. It was something so different than what I was used to back in my home country of Norway, a country where you can't even buy beer on Sundays or in any store after 8 o'clock at night. But I actually found my first ever carnival to be quite exciting, and I actually enjoyed the experience, the party culture of the locals, but I do have to admit that they are just on a completely different level. Even at 28 years old, I simply couldn't keep up with all of the drinking and dancing, and after 2 days, I spent the remainder of the carnival hungover in bed, downing at least 8 liters of water per day, just trying to make it to the sofa in the living room. But you know, the locals, well, they were up early the following day, washing down the eggs with some beer and ready to hit the beach again before 10 o'clock. Today, I'm 46 years old. I run a bed and breakfast, and I'm usually in bed before 9 o'clock at night, and I'm up before 6 o'clock in the morning every single day. Even in the weekends, I rarely, if ever, get home after midnight, and even if I wanted to, I can rarely sleep later than 8 o'clock. So during the carnival, I really try to escape the city. However, since I do run a bed and breakfast, Carnival is just simply a gold mine where we are fully booked months in advance. And of course, all of the hotel owners, they will jack up the prices just due to the large demand, and we usually charge up to 3 to 4 times of what the normal cost for a night would be. So Andreas, what the hell are you complaining about? You're making great money and you get to experience Carnival at the same time? It's basically a win-win for you. You would think that, but try to see things from my perspective.
Segura no bate não, joga essa mãozinha lá pra cima e dá de sal. Joga pra cima, sal, 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 sal. Joga essa mãozinha lá pra cima e dá de sal. Sal, 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 sal.
Now, first of all, I don't like Brazilian funk music, nor do I like forró, axé, or even sertanejo. And although I can handle listening to it for days straight, the issue here is that every single household here will play their own music as loud as possible. And if the neighbor's music is too loud, they will simply try to drown out the neighbor's music by turning up the volume. Now, trying to listen to all of this from the outside is really not music anymore, but simply a continuous noise with no beat, no rhythm, just pure noise pollution, pure and simple. And this goes on for practically 24 hours for 4 days straight. Forget sleeping. It's Carnival. You're not even allowed to sleep. And going out at night is something that you really have to prepare for. Just forget about the restaurants. Most of these are closed simply because of the massive crowds outside and the fact that it would be practically impossible to have the tables outside of the restaurant. For most restaurant owners, it's just simply not worth it. Some places are so crowded, it's almost impossible to pass. It's like trying to fit 10 people in a barrel. You simply put on your least favorite clothes. In fact, a lot of businesses will come together and give out free t-shirts with their brand logo on them for you to use during the carnival. Also, the tradition of throwing these flower bombs at each other makes you think twice about venturing out onto the streets. You know, it's all fun and games, of course, and I understand that it is totally innocent, but If you want to avoid this, then your option is to stay at home and just endure the noise from all of the neighbors that eventually will make you go absolutely crazy. And even going to the beach is no escape from the parties and all of the noise pollution. You know, the locals, they are equipped with 4x4 trucks with massive sound systems parked right in the beach, blasting Brazilian funk that can be heard for miles. Now, let me be absolutely clear. This is only me ranting, and this is simply a part of the Brazilian culture. Like it or not, it's something that has always been and will always be like this in the future. It's not my cup of tea by any means, but it is what it is. And your own experience may be very different. I'm just really thankful and grateful for all the great business that the Carnival brings to my bed and breakfast. At least I have something in return for having to endure days of stress without any sleep. Not every Brazilian enjoys the Carnival either. In fact, there are many locals here in my city that actually wants to ban the celebrations altogether. And that is for a good reason. During the Carnival, the population here in the city where I live, it basically triples because the majority of the visitors that arrive during the Carnival are from the big cities such as Fortaleza, in my case, just an hour's drive from where we are located. It is a fact that they basically take over the entire city, literally. When they arrive the first day of Carnival, it's just a complete gridlock in the entire city. And going to the supermarket, going to the gym, or basically just leaving your house is something you cannot do the first day of Carnival simply because of the amount of cars just pouring into the city the first day of Carnival. And the last day of Carnival, it's basically the same story, just the other way around. Everyone is leaving at the same time, but with one big difference. They leave all of their trash behind. The entire city literally looks like a giant garbage patch. The streets are also covered completely white with all of the flour that has been thrown at each other. And this also really starts to smell after a while, after it's been just cooking in the sun for days. So another reason I really dislike Carnival here in Brazil. These guys here, they don't deserve this. This is just absolutely sad. And it's trash everywhere. Everywhere you look, there's trash. Absolutely heartbreaking. We can joke around, you know, just about cultural differences, but I don't think this has anything to do with Brazilian culture. I think this is just so unnecessary and so disrespectful to everybody who lives here. Just, this is our home, you know, this is where I live, this is where I choose to live, this is where lots of fishermen here choose to live. They didn't ask for this. You know, the wildlife didn't ask for this. And, you know, if we could ban the Carnival altogether and just, you know, move it somewhere else to another city, or I'd be happy with that. You know, to lose that revenue, that's fine by me. If we can, you know, just can avoid this. You know, if we get rid of all of this, if that means that, I don't make that extra money once a year, absolutely fine by me. This is absolutely heartbreaking. Now, for us hotel owners and owners of some shops and businesses and of course some restaurants that dare to keep their doors open, of course the extra revenue that the carnival brings is actually worth it. But for others, the carnival brings absolutely nothing to the table. It is an expensive party that we all do have to pay for with our tax money, and therefore the carnival isn't always as popular among the locals. So what is your opinion? Have you already experienced the true Carnival of Brazil? Now let me know in the comments, and when you are done, don't forget to give me a like in this video, and of course subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content like this. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Anyways, Carnival, it's all fun and games. It's just not my cup of tea, but it is what it is. Until the next upload, happy travels and see you soon.